Hi everybody, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with some projects using Mosaic Mood to share with you. And this is third time lucky. This is why I've got two samples, because the videoing hasn't gone well. So if it doesn't work this time, you ain't never going to see these cards. So if you're seeing it, okay, we stand half a chance. So these cards are something I've seen, a trifold panel card, I think is what they call them. I liked the look of them, but I couldn't find any instructions. So as usual, I just sat and I played until I got something that I liked. So this is my version. It may be the same as other people's versions. I don't know. And I don't care anymore because I've made them. But this is part of my Use Up My Mosaic Mood paper. And this is great for using up panels because there we go. There's our card and that's how it folds out. Stands up like this. So you get a lovely kind of display panel, but folds flat to go into a standard C6 envelope. And this is my other version, as you can see, using lots of the hummingbirds, bee eaters, I'm not sure which, but I've used all of the different papers, I've used different colours. So whatever scraps you happen to have, or if you're using up some paper, this is perfect. And there's no stamping. You could stamp if you wanted to on these panels here, and the reason I haven't layered up on these two panels on any of the cards is because you're folding it in on itself, and if you did layer up, it's already quite bulky because there's 4 layers of card there, plus the layers on the outer ones. It would just be too bulky, so that's why we haven't got them. But what I have done is just put a little bit of the DSP on this one just to show how you could decorate it. Obviously you could write your sentiment there. I rather liked it as it was, thinking that's where I'm going to write any message that I might want to do. You could always add an extra layer on there as well. And this is also part of my mindfulness activity that takes our mind off everything that's going on at the moment. We're in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. Take some time for yourself. Take some time where you don't think or worry, and fussy cutting is a great way to do that. So you could either stamp images and cut them out, or in this case, why would you not cut out these gorgeous images? So that's what I've done. So I have a bag here which has got my little bits of cutting out, some of it's still to do, and I've already cut some bits out as well, so you haven't got to sit there and watch me speed up doing cutting out. Don't think you need to do that. If you do, let me know and I'll do my best. And so again, because of the bulkiness, I'm using standard very vanilla because we're adding layers to it. It's going to make it really strong. So it's going to be a nice card at the end of it. I am working in centimetres. So for my friends across the pond in the US, I will work it out in inches and pop it on my blog as usual. It's just so much easier to work with one set of measurements while I'm actually videoing. Well, I find it is. So a standard piece of A4 card, and I've cut it down to 14.5 by 26 centimetres. And then I am going to score, really easy scoring on this one, folks. 7, 11, 15, and 19. That is it. That is your scoring done. So no fiddling about with this one. So what you do need though is your bone folder, and what I do tend to do, you can see here, is I'm just trying to make sure that is really well aligned because you don't want any problems later. So I'm just lining that up before I crease it, and I'm as usual folding up away from that fold. So we've scored it, we're folding away from the score to start off with before we concertina back, like so. So once we've scored it all, it looks a bit like this. And so what we want to do then is this right hand one is going to fold back on itself, like so. And this one here on the left, exactly the same one, is also going to fold back on itself. And those then just fold in on themselves, like so. You can just see on the top there, it folds in like that. Or you could fold it around the back if you wanted to. That might be easier because it might reduce the bulk of it. Whichever way you do it, once you really score it well and then open it out, because then we're going to start doing some gluing. So I've now cut some panels, and this is where it's great for using up bits of paper that you've got. You're going to need 2 panels of card that are 6.5 by 14.5 and 2 panels of DSP that are 6 by 14.5. And then you're going to need one that is 3.5 by 14.5 and DSP of 3 by 14.5. So I've deliberately kept them flush at the top and bottom, just with the losing my words, flush with the card and just with the borders, that was it, that was the word I was looking for, on the right hand side. So you can then organise these panels. I haven't even arranged these, I haven't thought about them. Beauty of these ones that are flush is that if you don't quite get your layering right, if one's a little bit long or you're cutting right, do you know what? It doesn't matter because you can trim it away. That's rubbish gluing on the back there. So just nice panel. I've used crushed curry here. Rather like the crushed curry with it actually. I don't think it's one of the colours that's listed, but there are so many colours in this paper. I think mint macaron is the primary green that they list, along with garden green. So I'm using garden green here, like so, just to add a little layer. And again, you know, depending on how you like your layers, you could take these down a bit narrower if you wanted to make them a little bit narrower, obviously. The words are not coming well today, ladies. I do look at my stats. It is predominantly ladies that watch. Although there are obviously a few gentlemen crafters out there, but they are a rare breed. And then this is my third panel that I'm going to pop on. So, and these papers, I don't know why it took me so long to use them. I think maybe because I hadn't got the stamp set that coordinated, and I kind of do. I mean, it's one of the things that attracts me to Stampin' Up! Is that lovely coordination. Yeah, I don't know. It just never kind of made it to the top of the pile. So you'll see I've got a couple of bits here where I've been rubbish at cutting out. So I'm just going to trim from the back those just little bits. That's the worst one, that offending one in the middle. Probably means I haven't stuck it flush to the top, to be honest with you. But there we go. So I'm just going to trim those like so. There we have. So there's our basic card. As you can see, whichever way you fold it, I just thought it's such a pretty design that you could use for all sorts of things. And then we're on to my birds. So I've got a lovely bird here. And the only thing you have to watch with this is to make sure that your when it folds, your birds don't overhang the edges, because obviously it's going to create you some issues on the other side. So I'm going to probably pop my two birds like this. But with the cutting out, a couple of things I would say to note. There's actually like a very vanilla border all the way around these birds, as you would have with a tile. So I'm kind of using that, and it's really forgiving if you're fussy cutting, because you don't have to get it as accurate. And I cut the main bit, then I come up and do the beak. It's a really narrow fiddly bit. So move my paper rather than my scissors, and then come down the other side. And I just found that was like the best way to kind of cut out my beak without encountering too many difficulties or bending it too much. Worked for me. And again, with the cutting out, you can you can kind of flute sort of these edges of the feathers if you want to, a bit, or if you just want to cut it simply fairly straight, that would work as well, just as well. So there we have. So that shows, it doesn't take a long time. I'm probably going to use this brighter one because I'm not convinced that this one's going, although actually it does show up quite well. So what I'm going to do in order to put my birds on, I'm actually going to, unusually, I'm going to fold my card because I want to see where they're going to sit, because obviously I want to make sure they're not going to get squashed on that envelope. And then I'm going to come in with a bit of Tombow and put it on that middle section. Kind of, it's a little bit more fiddly than usual, but hopefully this will now work. Now, if you were being really sensible, then you'd use a pencil and make some marks. But hey, why do that? So I'm just going to make sure that it comes on my bird here and on the tail, but not onto the beak. So body, not onto the beak, and onto the tail. I'm just kind of dabbing the glue over there. And then I'm going to pop my bird like so. And I just wanted the impression, because they're such pretty birds, of them flying when you open that card. And there we have it. How on earth I managed to mess up the videos twice before this, I don't know. But what I would say is when you're cutting out, don't throw away ones that are part cut. Oh, here you go. Here's one here where it's cut off the side, because you can always add that in to the edge there if you wanted to. Likewise, I've cut out more birds here. You could add another bird on the inside if you wanted to, which would then sort of overlap. So you could add one like so. Let's give it a go. So again, I'm just adding a bit of glue back onto my bird, but not on that beak, because the beak's a bit that's going to kind of float. Now I can't pick it up without making a mess. So I'm just going to pop that. Oh, that's what I didn't want to do. There we go. Let's wipe that off very carefully, like so. And then when you fold that up, you've got the sort of impression of the bird, and then as you open it, there we go. So there we have my version of a card I've kind of seen around, and I've worked out how to do it. It's not difficult. Here's the strip I was looking for. Where you've got partial birds, you could just add that as a strip on the inside if you wanted there. Anyway, not difficult, lots of fun, lovely paper to use, and makes a stunning card, and unusually without much stamping. So come along to my shop, buy it now before it goes. End of May it will run out, and we may well go before then. And if you want any help with your shopping, as always, just drop me a line. Thanks for watching. Do come and see me again soon. I'd love it if you chose me as your demonstrator. And bye for now.